Will there be a general election in this country in 2022? That's the question Kenyans are currently asking. Because you know one thing for sure, that constitutionally, the next general election is supposed to be held in August. But there are clear signs that there are schemes to postpone the election. And those who've been following the politics of this country very closely, there are many people, including Moses Kuria, who has been accusing President Uhuru Kenyatta of scheming to postpone the 2022 general election. Let me take you through our constitution, what the constitution says about the next general election. Let me just get what the constitution is saying. Now, this is what the constitution of Kenya says about the next general election. Article 136, election of the president. Number 1, the president shall be elected by registered voters in a national election conducted in accordance with this constitution and any other act of parliament regulating presidential elections. Number 2, an election of the president shall be held on the same day as a general election of members of parliament, being the second Tuesday in every 5 years. So it means every 5 years, the second Tuesday, Kenyans will be conducting general election. In 2022, that date falls on the 9th. It goes further at B, in the circumstances contemplated in Article 147. But again, the elections can always be postponed. And the condition is also very clear that it can only be postponed when there is war. The question is there war in this country today? The answer to that is no. Which means ideally, Kenya should have a general election in 2022 on the 9th of August. But you all remember there is a court ruling on the Building Bridges Initiative process. As we speak today, the Court of Appeal has identified 7 judges to hear the case on the Building Bridges Initiative process. And just like I keep on saying on this platform, in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, scripted, and executed to achieve certain political objectives. Francis Atwoli was very clear that there will be no election in this country unless the Building Bridges Initiative process is completed.
No BBI, this one, but what I know for sure, BBI will be there. And if there will be no BBI, this one I can tell you with authority, then we will look into an issue of making sure we have BBI before we go for elections. We want peace in this country as workers. After every 5 years, the recipients of the problems are workers. Our children are maimed, our children are killed. Those people who do seasonal or casual or contractual employment, when there are problems, they don't report it. And they lose those people who are paid on daily basis. And they're the majority. People in our informal sector, which is the huge economic activity in this country. We'll appeal to Kenyans to appeal to members of parliament. If there is no BBI, we will postpone elections until we get BBI. And it is us who can post. It will not be leaders, it will not be political leaders. It is us who get problems.
Who is Atwoli in this country? The truth of the matter is that Atwoli is very influential. There are so many things he has said, just like Murade, and most of those things have always come to pass. That's why I want you guys to take his words very seriously. And the mere fact that in this country, Kenyans have been talking of a possibility of postponing the election. And secondly, yesterday, Iebc, the body mandated to conduct election, also indicated that they are not ready for general election. If the body mandated to conduct election is not ready, then who will conduct the election? We've been in this country In 2002, we were here. We knew what was happening few months to the elections. We are only 13 months away from the next general election. We were here, we witnessed what happened that time. Everything was active. In 2017, we were here. By now, there were so many cases, so many activities, both from the opposition by that time and from IBC in regards to the 2017 general election. But now we are here, 2021, 13 months to the next general election, and nothing is happening. Are we going to have a general election? Let me explain to you why I strongly believe we might not have that election. And before I do that, if you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And for those who've joined the channel membership, I want to thank you. I saw my friend Eliud Ngige subscribed. I want to thank you. And I also received another notification of a guy who has also signed. I want to thank him, and I'll mention his name tomorrow. So you can just click that join button. Now let us get back to business. Are we going to have a general election? Ideally, we should be having a general election. And personally, I would advise President Uhuru Kenyatta, if I were to advise him, to allow Kenyans to go to the polls in the next general election. I would facilitate IBC to conduct a credible election. Because conducting a credible election will help President Uhuru Kenyatta achieve his legacy. By conducting a credible election, at least this country will move forward. But of course, the president also has his idea, he has his team. Whether they intend to postpone the election is something I can't tell. But remember, I've always told my friends, and even on this channel severally, especially those who are celebrating that the BBI was postponed or the courts ruled against it. I've always told them that it was designed to operate like that. But let's not go into those details. Why do I believe that we might not have a general election? Number one is the IBC preparedness. Is IBC ready for this election? Are they conducting voter registration? One of the main reasons why the courts ruled against BBI was that IBC was not ready. They could not confirm or verify whether those people who appended their signatures on the register actually appended. So it means if for example, I appended my signature on BBI, IBC was required to prove that it's me. How do you prove that it's me who signed that document? How? And they also wanted IBC to prove that indeed voter registration has been ongoing. IBC could not prove that. So the truth of the matter is that as we speak, IBC is not ready to conduct election. They are doing nothing. And add it to the referendum. If the Court of Appeal or even the Supreme Court will rule in favor of the proponents of the Building Bridges Initiative process, what do you think is going to happen? IBC will be compelled to proceed with the BBI. BBI had a timeline, and because the BBI had a timeline, the courts will then add those timelines, will determine, like if they were supposed to conduct it within 90 days, the courts will definitely add those 90 days. And by the time BBI will be finished, I don't think IBC will be ready for another general election. That's number one. The second thing I'm seeing here is litigation. The mere fact that human rights activists went to the courts to challenge the Building Bridges Initiative process and succeeded. Those who are on the other side will also go to the courts using the same allegations, and they'll seek them. For example, is IBC prepared to go to the polls to conduct election? So if the court ruled they were not prepared, someone will still go to the courts that they are not prepared. Someone will still go to the courts to actually question the authenticity will actually go to the courts to question whether the register is authentic. IEBC will have to prove that that register is authentic. It will be very difficult for IEBC to do that. So many people will be going to courts to challenge the IEBC preparedness, whether the register, whether the mere fact that as we speak now, we don't even have commissioners. The other ground was that there are no commissioners. The president is the one who can initiate that process. He has actually initiated it. But remember, Maraga also ruled that parliament is currently unconstitutional because of the gender rule. So which means the president can even decide to dissolve that same parliament. If that's going to happen, how are we going to have elections? Parliament will have to pass the budget. They'll have to do what? So the president can just wait, then dissolve parliament. Once that parliament is dissolved, what will happen? There's nothing you can do about it. And I also want you guys to take keen attention on what happened at the registrar of political parties. They tested a program, and that test was intended to achieve certain objectives. What are the objectives? So many people, for example, just to be honest, I'm a member of the ODM party. As per 2012, I was a registered member of ODM political party in the register. When I checked, my details are intact, says that I'm an ODM member. There are several other people whose details are not matching. You find someone was a member of Jubilee, is now in another party which is not known. Someone was a member of ODM, is now in Jubilee. Someone was in Amani. Those mix up. Those mix up are actually designed to be like that. Someone will go to courts to check all those, because the laws are also very clear that if you want to contest, then you must belong to a member of a political party. Most people have always confirmed that they belong to this party. Then when they'll be going to the registrar, their names will not be there. So they'll be locked out. So they'll go to the courts to seek for justice. So those courts will provide them with justice. And that justice would mean elections not being conducted. I don't know what you think, but personally, we might not have a general election in 2022. And it will be very unfortunate. Let me hear your thoughts. Bye-bye.